We spend our lives waiting for the explosion. The moment the sky cracks open with a sign, the instant the music swells and everything makes sense. We're conditioned by stories to believe that life's most important turns are announced with fanfare, with fireworks and dramatic speeches. But what if we've been listening for the wrong thing? What if the most powerful force that will ever enter your life doesn't arrive with a roar, but with a whisper? A whisper so soft you could easily miss it in the noise of your own ambitions, your fears, your daily routine. Yet, a whisper that, if you hear it, has the power to redefine every single thing you thought you knew about strength, about purpose, and about what it truly means to be alive. This isn't a story about a fairy tale. This is a story about a quiet revolution. The kind that begins not on a battlefield, but in the quiet space between two hearts. This is about the day my world didn't end, but quietly, irrevocably began. I still remember the architecture of that day. The weather was unremarkable. The light was ordinary. I was deeply invested in the blueprint of my own life-chasing goals. Climbing ladders, building a version of success I thought I was supposed to want. Love wasn't on the agenda. It was a distraction, a variable I hadn't factored into the equation. And then, there she was. It wasn't that time slowed down, that S a cliché. It was that something inside me shifted. A fundamental plate in the foundation of my being tectonically moved, and the entire structure of who I was had to recalibrate to fit this new, unexpected reality. There were no fireworks. Fireworks are loud, bright, and then they're gone, leaving only smoke. This was the opposite. It was a silent, steady ignition. A spark. It was in a simple glance. A few exchanged words about nothing of consequence. But in that ordinary transaction, something extraordinary was communicated. It wasn't just attraction, though that was there. It was recognition. It was as if a part of my soul I didn't even know was dormant leaned forward and said, "Oh, there you are. I've been waiting." That's the first truth about a love that lasts. The first spark isn't about grand gestures or manufactured romance. It's a feeling you cannot fake. It's the chemistry of the soul. It's the way the very air in the room seems to change its composition when they walk in, becoming richer, easier to breathe. It's the way your mind, often cluttered with 1,000 anxieties, suddenly becomes sharp, clear, and intensely present, simply because they are there. I saw a quiet strength in the way she carried herself. Not arrogance, but a deep-seated knowing. Her smile wasn't just a curve of the lips. It was disarming. It had the power to dissolve complexity, to make heavy burdens feel light, to inject a potent dose of hope into a cynical world. And in that moment, I understood. I had been so busy doing building, creating, pushing, that I had forgotten the importance of simply being. I had forgotten what it felt like to be truly, vibrantly alive. She was the reminder. That spark she lit wasn't just about romantic love. It was about the possibility of a different kind of life. A life seen not only through the narrow lens of solitary ambition, but through the wide-angle lens of partnership, of connection, of shared purpose. Everyone has a moment like this, or the potential for one. A pivot point. A crossroads where your story can change direction. For me, it was the instant I realized that no achievement, no accolade, no solitary dream could ever compare to the profound feeling of finding the one who makes you believe in forever. The most extraordinary beginnings are often hidden in the most ordinary of moments. When I think of her now, the first image that comes to mind isn't a photograph. It's a feeling. It's the essence of who she is. We live in a world obsessed with the surface. We're taught that beauty is something to be captured, a commodity that fades with time. And yes, she is beautiful. But that is the least interesting thing about her. What makes her extraordinary is the kind of beauty that time has no power over. The beauty that emanates from within, from her spirit, her compassion, her unwavering strength. This is the crucial distinction. Beauty may capture attention, but it is the soul that captures the heart. I've watched her in a room full of people. She has this remarkable ability to listen, not just to wait for her turn to speak, but to truly understand. She sees the person others look past. She notices the subtle shift in a friend's tone, the unspoken worry in a loved one's eyes. In a world that is increasingly rushed and transactional, her kindness is a quiet revolution. It's a radical act of grace that forces you to pause, to reflect, and to want to be a better person yourself. That's when I learned that love has nothing to do with perfection. It has everything to do with connection. It's about seeing past the facade everyone presents to the world and connecting with the raw, authentic heart underneath. It's about finding a home in someone else's soul. Then there is her strength. It's not the loud, chest-thumping strength that demands a spotlight. It's a quiet, resilient force. It's the strength of the deep roots of an oak tree, not the loud crack of thunder. When life's inevitable storms hit hand, they will hit. She doesn't panic or crumble. She stands firm. She becomes the anchor, not just for me, but for everyone fortunate enough to be in her orbit. Watching her navigate challenges with such profound grace has been a greater education than any degree or professional success. It taught me that true beauty is found in resilience, in the courage to keep moving forward, even when every instinct tells you to retreat. And her mind is a universe of its own. It's magnetic. She doesn't accept the status quo. She questions it. She challenges boundaries and dreams in possibilities that would intimidate most. Being with her isn't just about comfort. It's about constant, exhilarating growth. She stretches me. She pushes me to think bigger, to dream wider, not for my sake alone, but for ours. That is love beyond the superficial. It's finding someone who doesn't just make your heart beat faster, but makes your mind expand. They become a mirror that reflects not who you are, but who you have the potential to become. Every day with her is a reminder. Appearance is fleeting, but character is eternal. Looks change, but a heart of kindness, a mind of intelligence, and a spirit of unwavering support. These are the foundations of a love that is not fragile. It is fortified. It is built to last a lifetime. Life, by its very nature, is a test. You can have the best laid plans, the most meticulous preparations, and still the storms will come. Sometimes they arrive as a slow, creeping dread, a drizzle of anxiety that builds into a flood of overwhelm. Other times they hit with the sudden, brutal force of a lightning strike, a loss, a failure, a betrayal that leaves you breathless. And it is in these moments, in the heart of the chaos, that you discover what you're truly made of. More importantly, you discover who is truly with you. For me, she has been the anchor. When the weight of my own expectations felt like it would crush me, when failure wasn't just a concept but a cold, hard reality staring me in the face, when the voice of doubt in my head became a deafening roar telling me I wasn't enough, she never let me drown. She didn't just offer comfort. There's a profound difference. Comfort is a warm blanket. It helps you rest. But strength is a sword and shield. It helps you rise and fight again. She gave me strength with a simple touch, a look, or a few perfectly chosen words. She had this way of reminding me of my own core. She reflected back to me the man I was at my best, even when I could only see the man I was at my worst. And she did it without judgment, without criticism. It was a faith so pure, so unshakable, that it became impossible for me not to eventually believe in myself again. I've seen how fair-weather friends and superficial connections evaporate when success fades and struggle takes its place. They stand with you in the sunshine because it's easy. But she stood with me in the hurricane, not out of obligation, but out of choice. A conscious, daily decision to plant her feet in the mud beside me and say, "We will get through this, together." That choice, repeated day after day, battle after battle, gave me a courage I never knew I possessed. It taught me the most valuable lesson about love. It is not a refuge from hardship. It is a partnership for facing hardship. Love doesn't erase the storm. It gives you the courage to dance in the rain. Strength is not a measure of how much you can carry on your own. That's a lonely and ultimately unsustainable myth. True strength is measured by having someone who helps you shoulder the load when it becomes unbearable. Because of her, I know that no matter how fierce the storm, I will never have to face it alone. The greatest gift love offers is not the happiness of the easy days, but the unwavering presence on the hardest ones. When two souls truly connect, the relationship is never just about the present tense. It's a living, breathing thing that is always leaning into the future. The initial fall into love is a powerful, intoxicating rush. But staying in love, growing in love, that's where the real alchemy happens. That's where you move from being two individuals who love each other to a single, unified force that creates a world together. With her, my dreams didn't shrink. They expanded. They became infused with a new color, a new depth. Every ambition felt more meaningful because it was no longer just my ambition. It was ours. The future was no longer a solitary path I was walking, but a landscape we were designing together. What makes this so powerful is that she isn't just a cheerleader for my dreams. She brings her own visions, her own passions to the table. She adds perspectives I lack, challenges my assumptions, and colors in the lines I've only sketched in pencil. When I think about the years ahead, it's not just about hitting targets or acquiring things. It's about the quiet mornings we'll share, the deep conversations that will stretch into the night, the challenges we'll face as a team, and the legacy we will leave behind. Hand in hand. This is the beautiful shift, from me to us. Every great vision needs balance. Where I see a wall, she often sees a door. Where I charge ahead with relentless intensity, she reminds me to pause, to breathe, to appreciate the journey itself. Together, we find a rhythm, a harmony of passion and peace that neither of us could achieve alone. This collaboration turns personal ambition into something far greater. It becomes about building a home, not just a house. It's about building a treasury of memories, not just a series of moments. It's about constructing a life that is a true reflection of both our spirits. Intertwined, I've realized the future isn't something you predict. It's something you build. And the greatest creation you will ever work on is not a product, a company, or a fortune. It is a life built on love. A life where two people consistently lift each other higher, where every decision is filtered through a lens of mutual trust, and every step forward is taken with fingers laced together. It's one thing to dream alone. It is an entirely different, more extraordinary thing to dream with a partner who believes in you with every fiber of their being, and who invites you to believe in them just as deeply. That kind of partnership doesn't just change your life's trajectory, it changes its very meaning. The dream you build together is bigger than either of you could ever be apart. When a love is real, it cannot be contained. It refuses to stay neatly within the boundaries of a relationship. It radiates. It spills over. It sends out ripples that touch shores you may never even see. The love I share with her is not just our private sanctuary. It has become something more, a living example. It's a quiet testament to what is possible. I've seen it in the eyes of friends, in the observations of family. They sense it. They see the calm she brings to my chaos, the depth of our connection that goes far beyond the superficial, and in seeing it, a seed of hope is planted in them. It reminds them to raise their own standards, to seek something deeper, to believe that a love built on loyalty, respect, and unwavering trust is not a fantasy, it is a attainable reality. People aren't just inspired by the highlights, the anniversaries, the celebrations. They are inspired by the resilience. They are inspired when they see two people face a great difficulty and, instead of being torn apart, they are forged together, stronger than before. That choice to keep fighting, to keep choosing each other, is a powerful message in a world that often gives up to isolate. This is how love becomes a legacy. Imagine a child growing up in a home where this kind of love is the air they breathe, where respect is not a lesson taught, but a behavior modeled every single day. Imagine the generations that follow, carrying forward the DNA of patience, kindness, and devotion, simply because they witnessed it firsthand. The world does not need more examples of brokenness. It is saturated with them. What the world desperately needs are more living examples of love that endures, love that forgives, love that builds up instead of tearing down. If you are blessed enough to find a love like this, understand that it is not a gift for you alone. It is a gift for your circle, for your community, and for the silent observers whose paths you cross. Through your love, you remind others that hope is not naive, that faith is a muscle worth building, that commitment is still the most powerful force for good we possess. The story of a love like this doesn't end with you. It becomes a chapter in a much larger story, a story that will inspire others long after you are gone to believe in something greater than themselves. Because the most enduring legacy we can leave is not what we built with our hands, but the love we built with our hearts. And the way that love becomes a light, guiding the way for those who come after us. So, stop listening for the explosion. Start listening for the whisper. Pay attention to the quiet moments, the simple glances, the feeling of recognition that goes deeper than attraction. Seek the beauty that resides in character, not just in appearance. Value the partner who stands with you in the storm as much as the one who celebrates with you in the sun. Choose to build a future together, not just to parallel lives. And understand that the love you cultivate is never just for you. It is your quiet revolution. It is the most profound impact you will ever have on the world. It begins with a whisper, and it echoes for a lifetime.